right, so our next stop is the booster station. We have one booster station in Roseville. And as I said earlier, all of the water that serves both Roseville and Arden Hills flows through this site, unless there's a problem. We do have some other connections around the city in case something happens and we need to open up a different connection. But on a good day, on a normal day, the water flows through here. The booster station was originally built in 1963, and at that point we had 4 pumps in the booster station. And then in 1976 we did an addition and added 2 additional pumps. We in the winter we're pumping about 4 to 5 million gallons per day, but in the summer when people start irrigating the lawns and such, we're going about 8 to 11 million gallons per day, and about 11.2 is probably our peak daily flow that we would see. What's interesting is that the pumps themselves, as I said, we have 6 of them in there right now. The lowest rated pump can actually pump about 5 million gallons per day. So for the most part, we only have 1 pump running out of the 6 in the booster station. In the summer, we'll get a second pump kick on periodically, but overnight it would kick back down to 1 pump. So we actually have quite a bit of capacity in that booster station. We're actually going to be doing a study of this booster station this year to look at the long-term needs to rehabilitate this booster station, and I think part of that study will be a recommendation to remove at least 2 of the pumps, if not more, because we really don't see the long-term need to have 6 pumps in there. It's good to have redundancy, certainly, but we really don't need 6. Just a couple other interesting notes. So that 4 to 5 million gallons per day and 9 or 8 to 11 million gallons per day in the summer. Overall, well, in 2010 we pumped 1.878 billion gallons of water. So if you on average you're looking at about 5.1 million gallons per day on average. And now we'll go inside, and it is noisy inside with the pumps running. There's a high frequency buzz. So I encourage you to look around and everything. We may not be able to answer all the questions, and we can come back out and talk more questions if you like. So as I said, we have got 6 pumps in here. We actually have another spot there for a 7th pump, which will never get built. The blue big pipes with the big bulges in the middle are the pumps, as well as this white one here. This right here is our backup generator. So if we were to lose power, this would kick in. It's quite noisy, and it does kick out quite a bit of an exhaust. So we do open this garage door up to vent it. This system monitors water elevation in the tower, so extra pumps will kick on as that water level goes down in the water tower. So that's how the system is automated from that perspective. As the consumption goes up, the usage goes up, then the extra pumps will kick in. And as I said, it would be very rare that we would have more than 2 pumps running at a time. You know, back in the 70s, like I said, in the 60s, this system was originally built and then was expanded in the early 70s. At that point, my only thought is that they thought that either Roseville would be serving more communities, or that we would be a lot more dense and have more population. And that just never came out, that never came to be. And so, as I said, when we redo the study, we may look at possibly supplying water to St. Anthony, as well as Arden Hills, and certainly Arden Hills will be growing quite a bit with the TCAP project and everything. But even with that growth, I mean, I'd expect we maybe keep 4 pumps for some redundancy and that extra capacity. I think the main line comes in from there and then flows that way. And so what the water, and I meant to bring a a map that showed how all the water connections we had coming into this building. But we have a St. Paul, who we buy our water from, has a large above ground reservoir tank in Reservoir Woods, aptly named. And so the water flows from that tank to here, and then the pumps kick in to then provide proper pressure in that through our system. And then to pump the water up the tower and that. Well, this St. Paul they have their own pumps that's charging the system, and so that water flows, is pressurized and flows into the tank. You could, the benefit of the water tower is you have both storage and it provides that pressure in case you have a power outage or something. You know, we were actually talking about that when we came and did a pre-run of this tour. I don't know, I mean, all these pumps are from the 60s or 70s, but I think they thought this one had 4 hours of use on it. So it's obviously in pretty good condition. It's just an old pump. I'm sure there's an aftermarket for it. You know, there's somebody out there who probably wouldn't mind having that pump, so we would try to sell it. Well, I think that will be part of the study, is to get a new generator in here, certainly. And then, right. I believe the generator is probably from that same era of the 70s. It's probably been rehabbed a couple of times, and they do run this, I believe, almost daily. It automatically kicks in to test run. I don't know that they do. I think they just use the smallest 2 pumps, which are on the end there. Well, it goes 3,500 to, 4,000 or 6. There's 3 different sizes. And so, like I said, that 3,500 gallon pump, if you do the math of 3,500 gallons per minute, 60 minutes in the hour, 24 hours, that comes out to 5 million gallons in a day for the one. All right. If there's no other questions, then I think we can move on to the next site.
Overall, this is pretty maintenance-free.
It is. We have to spend some time keeping it clean and that, and we've had lapses on that. We have quite a bit of work on the exterior of this building. We have to do a lot of tuck pointing in that. That'll be part of the study, and some expenses. So we have some pretty significant expenses in this building coming up in the next few years. Between the generator, rehabbing the insides, and probably replacing some of these pumps just to, kind of reset the life on them.